once you are born, you remain under the care of your mother probably until 18. I mean, ideally until 18 when you are supposed to be an adult. I know people who are beyond 40 who still live with their parents, by the way. But I would have thought that in the political party arrangement, once you belong to a party and on the ticket of that party, you went to parliament, there's a certain sense that you'd have to pay some sort of homage to your party. And your party may still have a say in your growth. If the party decide at some point that, well, they think that your interests may not align with their interests, they may make suggestions to the caucus. I think that's what I think should be done because at this time, you're actually a full-grown human adult, right? And so suggestions could be made. They can't just decide that willy-nilly they'll have their way because they perceive you not to be probably serving the interest of a futuristic, if you like, impossibility of running a third term or otherwise. And so somehow they will need to charge you out. I don't think those things are responsible. I thought that the best thing the party should have done was to have done it in a manner that was um, matured because these were not children any longer. These were adults. That even if they were staying within your within your household, you still have to give them some credit, some respect. And I suspect that's how the party failed not to do. But I've heard otherwise as well. But I think it should have been a much more, accommodating experience where the various parties were spoken with or to and have a conversation as to how this could have been done seamlessly without any party taking a lot of pain. Unfortunately, that did not happen. But I still think that parties have a role, but that role must be carefully guarded and must be suggested in an adult-like manner and not the way it was done. I don't think that was fair. I mean, if the party had shown us examples or evidence that the gentleman Osachi Mensabus was resisting and that did not want to leave the post, then would have said, okay, well, maybe they have a reason why they needed to do it the way they did. But if it is the case that they had spoken with him and I mean, it has to be cordial, all these things wouldn't really have happened. So a short answer to your question is that yes, parties have a role, but to a certain extent, when especially the growth of parliament under the care of such leaders have shown that, or the growth of their own party shown that in parliament have shown that these are careful-headed, level-headed pairs that you need to prosecute any agenda. In any case, I think the party must have sacrificed to such Sambos on the altar of expediency. Expediency partly because he himself said he's not going to return to parliament, and expediency because, well, then they needed someone in the saddle who may be pursuing, promoting those interests. I do not know how that can be quantified anyway, but hey, in politics, a lot happens. Okonomaki may have the magic wand, hopefully, but otherwise, the third and last point again is that the expediency was that they needed to send a certain signal to the electorate out there that they are probably interested in gingering up their support base with some new lease of life. And that's what I think they do. Whatever that means, I don't know how all those calculations go into winning an election, but they're on the ground, and so they probably know better.
Yes, a final one on this for you. Joe Osei-Wusu, very respected member of parliament, Atache as well. Prior to the official announcement, we saw that press conference addressed by Joe Osei-Wusu. What do you think he was trying to signal?
I think you're signaling the same point I just made not a couple of moments ago that look, this whole idea of a change in leadership must have had the interest of the caucus, must have taken the interest of the caucus as well, right? Because you can't just do that. The fact that they belong to a party doesn't mean that the party owes them, especially when the people heading the party themselves are novices. I mean, I would be really reticent to take advice from the general secretary, who I suspect is a novice, from somebody who had been in parliament for 23 years. Come on, what are you talking? Right? But of course, the general secretary is not the embodiment of the entire party, but they are party leaders as well. Those young boys, like, what's the guy's name? The guy, their national organizer, the rest. To think that
Nadienko,
the
yeah.
effrontery really, yeah, the effrontery really, to think that these two, as part of the council, would decide my fate, having been in parliament for that long, was a bit quite outlandish to take. But anyway, whatever it is, That I think so. Joe Wise was signaling the fact that these are just disrespectful tweets, and he was not going to countenance any of this at all. So he was doing so on the under the aegis of showing respect, not just to your peers, but to your elders. And in this regard, a very important